KA3 News at noon.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Karina Rubio. We're learning new information after a man was killed and 3 people were shot in Decatur. The Macon County coroner confirms 27-year-old Catrice Smith died from multiple gunshot wounds. That first shooting happened near East Walnut and Lober Streets. Later, there were reports of gunfire at MLK and Grand and MLK and Garfield. Around 10:30, a street crimes detective near Jasper and Wood saw people in a small gold car shooting at another vehicle. While officers investigated those incidents, there were more calls about gunfire in the area of 20th and Prairie. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays explains how the community is reacting.
Police say they responded to a call of shots fired near 1300 East Walnut with a person shot inside a car. He died. Patrol officers, detectives, Macon County Sheriff's deputies, and Decatur Park police officers had to respond to the area to calm a large unruly crowd. As they were responding to that call, they got a report of shots fired at MLK and Grand and MLK and Garfield. After that, 2 people went to the hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Police say neither of them would cooperate with the investigation. At the hospital, a large crowd formed which broke out into fights. Police had to respond to that. Later, a street crimes detective saw people in a gold car shooting at another car near Jasper and Wood Streets. The car left the scene going over 90 miles per hour. Shortly after, a woman who was shot during that incident went to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to her leg. While police were investigating the other incidents, there were more calls about shots fired near 20th and Prairie. 2 dark-colored cars were shooting at each other. People who live in Decatur say they want people to choose peace.
I don't care no more about life. There's no reason to live. And the young people know they like their no role model. That's the main problem right there.
Police say they are still investigating. They want anyone with information to contact them.
And 4 people were shot in separate shootings in Danville. They were hurt near the corner of Pennsylvania Avenue and William Street over the weekend. A day later, police responded to a shooting near College and South Street, where a 21-year-old was shot in the chest. We're working to learn how the victims are recovering or whether these shootings were related. And a follow-up story to a teenager who died while riding his bike on Highway I-36. Rantoul Township High School is offering counseling services to help students and staff members. 18-year-old Matthew Carell and a 15-year-old were both hit. Carell died at the scene. He went to Rantoul Township High School. Carell lived in Gifford, and we talked with one person who says this was tragic news for the entire community.
I actually talked to my mom about this, and she was very upset thinking about what if it was us. And I know it's a very hard thing to go through, and it's not something a parent wants to go through, ever.
No charges have been filed, but police are still investigating. An autopsy is set for a body found in Clay County. The body of 29-year-old Austin Woods of Edgewood was discovered on a county road in Mason. There is no information on cause of death. State police and the Clay County Sheriff's Office are investigating at this time. And in Normal, an autopsy is set for today as police are trying to identify a body. Officers found the body in a wooded area near Greenbrier Drive and Hershey Road. Officers called in detectives and the McLean County Coroner's Office to identify the remains. And a garage fire in Hoopeston is under investigation. Witnesses say they could see flames as the building burned on West Main Street. The 2-car garage was engulfed when firefighters arrived. Nobody was hurt. And a Danville family is looking for a new home after a fire. Daniel Lomax thought it was a normal day while cleaning out his garage. That's when his grandson ran out of the house saying there was a fire. 7-year-old Mason Sandlin saved their lives, and even though the fire destroyed a lot, a necklace his daughter-in-law received before his father's passing survived.
It started out as silver and purple, but it's charred now. But it's still something.
Firefighters say they're working to learn how the fire started. In other news, the governor's new COVID-19 restriction in the Metro East region start today. It comes as a result of an increase in new cases. Restrictions include closing bars and restaurants by 11 p.m. and limiting meetings and social events to 25 people. There are more than 1,700 new cases in Illinois. That makes more than 207,000 overall. And 12 more people have died, and there are now 7,700 COVID-19 deaths across the state. Sangamon County is announcing a new daily low for the month of August. Officials are reporting 7 positive new cases for COVID-19 in the county. This is the lowest single day number since July 12th. The total is one shy of 1,500 people, with at least 36 of those cases being deadly. 7 people are currently in the hospital. And in Champaign County, the total number of COVID-19 cases is nearing 1,800 people. 19 people have died from the virus and 12 people are currently in the hospital. Students at one preschool in Mattoon are now learning remotely. This is due to a positive test that closed one of those classrooms. Our partners at the Journal-Gazette-Times Courier report one person at St. John's Lutheran School has tested positive for COVID-19. Students and staff not in that class are still attending on campus. St. John's Lutheran School started its academic year last week. Meantime, a business owner in Springfield is helping students learn remotely. The MB Heating and Cooling manager says there's a big question running through people's minds. How do I balance work and school duties for my kids who won't be back inside a classroom? Well, they found a solution for that. MB is looking for a tutor to join the team who can guide employees' kids through e-learning. The tutor will teach 4 to 6 students at a time in an MB office space Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. Kids can range from 4th to 8th grade. The MB team says the goal is to have a productive and safe learning environment. The Springfield Public Schools Board recently voted to change the reopening plan from a hybrid model to a fully remote one until at least October 26th. And saliva testing for COVID-19 could soon expand to other into the Champaign-Urbana community. So far, it's been used on the U of I campus. It's already been approved by the state, but now it needs clearance from the FDA. People who use the saliva test could get results within hours instead of days. Public health leaders say it's also just as reliable as the nasal swab.
Based on all the testing they have done, and they've been doing it for the last 2 months, they've simultaneously compared samples from saliva and nasal and even nasopharyngeal, and they have all come back to be almost similar to all 3 methods.
If the FDA approves it, public health officials say it's a strong possibility it could end up at testing sites in our area. If you are tested at Marketplace Mall, it will take 24 to 48 hours for you to hear back if you're positive. But if you're negative, it can take up to a week to hear back. And we're feeling a comfortable start to your work week. So here's Jack with a look at the conditions. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Karina. Yeah, it's really nice outside. We have a lot of very comfortable